Mega Man X Dive is one of the more divisive games in the series. Between character designs and gacha mechanics, it had stuff to polarize players, but it also had amazing armor designs and a roster of characters people wanted to play for years you could only imagine playing in your dreams until this game came out. I mean, playable CL? Hello? But what it set out to do was reinvigorate the Mega Man X IP in markets where it had been forgotten due to lack of releases. Who's to say if it did its job well until Capcom releases some numbers, but it definitely got discussion around the series going again from the larger community one way or another. Because of all this, its end of service is also equally divisive. But thankfully, this isn't goodbye, it's more like see you later. Capcom has announced an offline version with the content from the gacha game included and microtransactions removed, now replaced with in-game currency you can collect through levels. It's slated to release sometime this year. The tragedy of mobile gaming is a lot of these games rely heavily on a dev-side online server to operate, and once the service is down, so is the entire game for life. This makes preservation of these games incredibly hard, so we've only seen so many successful stories about it. So no one was really expecting this announcement for Mega Man X Dive. When I started looking into this more though, I was shocked just how rare an offline version is for mobile games after termination of service. I understood it rarely happened, but to realize the number of big games shut down that never got an offline version could be counted on one hand was flabbergasting. The biggest recent example of this has to be Nintendo's Dragalia Lost. After 4 years of service, the game shut down on November 29th, 2022, now existing as nothing more than an icon full of memories on your home screen. Due to the server now being offline, there's nothing you can do with the game. No old missions to replay, no way to access the once popular mobile game. And it's not like this game was a colossal failure that had no value in making an offline version that could be purchased for a fee. At one point, Dragalia Lost was earning more than Animal Crossing's Pocket Camp until possibly the Switch release of New Horizons caused Pocket Camp to explode in popularity. In its first year, Dragalia Lost made an explosive 100 million in player spending worldwide. But as time went on, the game had a massive drop off in player spending, with August in 2019 earning just $3 million in player spending. Which is an insane thing for me to type in a script and then read, just $3 million a month? But yeah, that's how insane profitability can be for these gacha games. Common fan sentiment is that Dragalia Lost had a pretty generous free-to-play system, so it's not necessarily out of lack of players. The last official sales report I could find from Nintendo on the game states that it had around $22 million in player spending from April 2020 to March 2021. There was definitely a dedicated fan base still left to be tapped for an offline version without the maintenance cost of a living gacha. But since this was a joint venture between Saya Games and Nintendo, maybe there was extra scrutiny on its expectation and what could be done with the IP. So what about Nintendo's own completely solo shut down mobile ventures? Dr. Mario World was one of Nintendo's early forays into the mobile gaming market. Resembling your traditional gacha, this game took the established Dr. Mario formula and tweaked it to mobile with things like time extenders and items to help you progress through levels. At its core, it's still the simple match 3 puzzle game, so surely there's an offline mode you can jump. I can't play freaking Dr. Mario without an online server? Dr. Mario World was shut down November 1st, 2021 after being Nintendo's lowest selling mobile game according to the last sales report on it. But that still puts it at $6 million of player base spending. A game like this would likely be easier to turn into a self-contained offline puzzler than something like Dragalia Lost, so what's stopping Nintendo from putting up an offline version for a couple of dollars? It seems like they got cold feet on this kind of release after Super Mario Run didn't light the App Store ablaze, but both of these are still sales numbers 3DS games outside of Pokemon would have killed for. If the worry is their overall profitability margins and the look of their portfolio on the app stores, toss the offline version onto the Switch eShop. There's not many other larger examples of popular mobile games being preserved to play later with an offline version. The biggest ones I could find were for Kingdom Hearts, some Warner Bros. Games, Sonic at the Olympic Games, and some Final Fantasy games. Some of these, even though you can still open them and play the offline modes, have been delisted, so this only matters if you even still have it installed in the first place. For others, like some of the Final Fantasy games, the worldwide ones like Mobius Final Fantasy and The First Soldier are shutting down and not getting any offline version as of this video. These were at least around for only a kind of shortish amount of time, but Final Fantasy Record Keepers was alive for 8 years and is still not getting an offline version to preserve the content. In Kingdom Hearts' case, Union X Dark Cloud is kept up for its importance to the storyline of the series, but it's a complete shell of what it once was. You don't get the experience you remember anymore, and is really just around for the cutscenes to be viewable still. But to reflect that, it's a free download. Sonic at the Olympic Games is probably the closest I've seen to what Capcom is presumably doing with X-Dive. While it was once free to play with microtransactions and online, it's now a 99-cent download with all the offline content included, but online removed. This far and away makes it one of the better preservations of the original game out of all of these offline conversions. There just isn't a strong precedence for this in mobile gaming. Even games with a long life of 7 years from the developers of Genshin Impact have gotten shut down with no attempt at preserving them with an offline mode. So with X-Dive offline, Capcom has a chance to create a stronger precedence here. While fans have worked tirelessly to preserve plenty of games on other devices, the nature of mobile gaming and a required server makes this exceptionally more difficult for mobile games. Heck, we barely had a massive breakthrough preserving early iPhone games because someone really wanted to play an old Monkey Ball game. No, seriously, shout out to them, check it out, the link is in the description below. Mega Man X-Dive had a life of 3 years with plenty of playable characters, costume variations, and stages. General reception was that this does play and feel as smooth and satisfying as mainline Mega Man X games with fast-paced platforming, snappy controls, and intense boss battles. Graphics are pleasant for the platform, artwork is gorgeous, and there is an in-depth weapon upgrade system that is satisfying to climb with your favorite characters. Really, the major complaints among the community came from the gacha mechanics and hurdles implemented to get you to spend more. Hey, go figure. If the offline package is everything minus the online and some crossover armors, which are from your own IPs, not sure why they can't be in the offline version, Capcom, this would be a very meaty package as its own standalone game. Something Mega Man X fans have been starving for. I'm hungry, Capcom, let me eat! So maybe Mega Man is just the perfect franchise to do this with and wouldn't work for all series. Super Mario Run famously did not perform to Nintendo's expectations after all, as previously mentioned, and was one of its lower performing mobile ventures because of the $10 price to own it. That's something that is just not common in mobile gaming after years of fans having been conditioned to expect freemium with microtransactions in a race to the bottom mobile gaming pricing has become. But a dev of this prestige creating an offline version of this scale and pushing it hard is important to ever persuade other devs to do the same. Capcom dropped the announcement for this when all eyes were on them during their E3, Summer Games Fest presentation. Mobile gaming has always been in an awkward spot among the core audience, but the simple fact of the matter is, there are fun experiences on this platform that deserve to be preserved. And some of them do not even really need the online connection to function as a game, but are gone nonetheless because of it. They deserve to be preserved for anyone to play as time goes on and re-experience. 8 years of content, connections, and fun shouldn't become inaccessible with the press of a button. Ultimately, all this hinges on X-Dive doing well, but it's a complete game in a fun, beloved franchise. If it doesn't do well, it won't be for a lack of trying. I know many Mega Man fans that would like to try X-Dive, but just aren't gacha people, and now they can. They're looking forward to it, myself included. This series has been really dormant outside of legacy collections though, so who knows what impact it ends up having. But this announcement alone started getting so many games communities talking about what could have been with their game, and how they'd like to see this more going forward for other mobile games. If it then ends up doing really well once on sale too, well, who knows? It could turn some mobile game devs' heads. The video game industry is a business after all, and there needs to be a precedent that it's worth it for other devs to consider putting in their resources. Mega Man has come back from worse. 6 years ago, we thought we'd never get a new game again, and now here we are with the legacy collections selling 1 million copies and speculating that X-Dive could maybe change the mobile market. I'm looking forward to seeing what the future has in store. Here's to the Blue Bomber. If you're a regular viewer of this channel, thanks for sticking all the way to the end for this off-topic content. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys are open to more of this kind of stuff on the channel. If you're new here and don't know what I do, I make videos on the Digimon card game from Bandai, which is blowing up right now. I do have other video essay type formats that you can watch if you're interested in that, which you can click right now on your screen. Check out the first one for a really fun internet mystery on Conan O'Brien and Digimon, or check out the one on the right for something more typical of this channel related directly to the Digimon card game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Until then, remember to stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.